I've been carrying this around for a while, and I think I just need to spill it out. Right now, I'm being called every insult in the book, but honestly, I'm sleeping just fine at night. I'm 29, engaged to Monica, 27. We've been together for 4 years, engaged for 6 months. From the start, Monica has been huge on the whole boundaries thing. Her favorite saying is, "Not my circus, not my monkeys." I never had an issue with that. I'm pretty independent myself. But here's where things got messy. My younger brother, Luis, who's 24, has had a string of bad luck lately. Not drugs, not crime, just life punching him in the gut. He lost his job because of layoffs, his girlfriend walked out, and then his landlord sold the building with a 30-day notice. He was struggling to keep his head above water. About 3 weeks ago, he finally called me. Turns out, he had been living in his car for a week because he was too proud to ask sooner. He asked if he could crash on our couch for just a month until he got back on track. He already had 2 job interviews lined up. That night, I brought it up to Monica. I told her Luis needed somewhere safe to sleep for a few weeks. Her response floored me. She said, "Your family drama isn't my problem, Jerome. We've talked about this before. I don't do family bailouts." I pointed out that Luis wasn't asking for money, just a couch. She cut me off, saying it was her space too, and she didn't want her life disrupted. Then she hit me with, "If Luis managed his life better, he wouldn't be in this situation. Poor planning on his part doesn't make it my emergency." I just sat there staring at her. How do you call losing your job to layoffs poor planning? When I said that not everyone can afford to have 6 months of savings sitting around, she rolled her eyes like I was being naive. She told me if I wanted to help, I could pay for a motel room, but Luis wasn't setting foot in our apartment. That stung. Paying for a motel for a month would cost thousands. When I pointed that out, she shrugged and said, "Then that's what helping costs. He's your family. That makes it your problem and your money." Here's some context. Monica makes great money as a marketing director. I do decent work as an electrician. We split all bills 50-50 and keep our finances separate. The lease is in both our names. So I looked at her and asked, "You're really making me choose between helping my brother and keeping peace with you?" She replied that she wasn't making me choose. She was just setting her boundary. Then she said, "If you can't respect that, maybe we're not compatible." That one hit different. She was basically threatening the relationship over my brother being homeless. I finally said, "You're absolutely right. My family isn't your problem." She smiled, kissed my cheek, and told me that's why she loved me. I was so rational. But there was no way I was going to let my baby brother keep sleeping in his car. So I shelled out $1,400 from my savings and paid for 2 weeks in an extended stay motel. Helped him move his stuff out of his car, bought groceries, even gave him some of my clothes that fit for his interviews. A few days later, Monica noticed when I had my banking app open. She asked if I'd really paid for a motel. I just repeated her words back. "My family. My problem. My money." She looked annoyed but let it go. Good news is Luis crushed one of his interviews. He started his new job the following week. A co-worker offered him a room, and now he's paying rent and standing on his own again. He's going to be fine. But then came the twist. Last Tuesday around 2 a.m., Monica's phone kept blowing up. It was her sister, Vanessa, calling nonstop. Monica finally answered, and I could hear Vanessa sobbing. She'd been arrested, DUI. Not just drunk driving either. She hit a parked car and tried to take off. Someone saw, called the cops, and she got caught. Monica freaked out, started getting dressed, and told me we needed to go bail her out. I stayed in bed and said, "We?" She said yes, of course. Her sister needed help. I told her, "Your family drama isn't my problem, Monica." She froze like I'd just spoken another language. "Are you serious right now?" "Dead serious." I reminded her that she'd said poor planning wasn't her problem. And Vanessa's choice to drink and drive was the definition of poor planning. She tried to argue that it was different. I asked her how. Luis had lost his job to layoffs. Vanessa chose to drive drunk. If anyone was responsible for their own mess, it was her. Monica started shouting that I was being heartless and petty. I told her I wasn't being petty, just consistent. Your family, your problem, your money. Bail bondsmen take credit cards. She stormed out, calling me every insult she could think of. Came back around 8 a.m. looking drained. Turns out Vanessa's bail was $15,000. Monica had to pay $1,500 to the bondsman to get her out. And it didn't end there. A few days later, when Vanessa's court date came up and the reality of her charges sank in, DUI with property damage and fleeing the scene, Monica sat me down and told me we needed to talk about hiring a lawyer. That's when I realized just how entitled she expected me to be, while never once showing that same grace to my brother. Everything was set for a quiet night. I'd cooked my favorite dinner, poured a nice glass of wine, and was ready to relax. But as soon as Monica sat down, she said, "We need to talk about Vanessa." I didn't even look up from my plate. "Your family, your problem, remember?" Her jaw tightened. "Jerome, this is serious. She might be facing prison time. Then she should hire a lawyer. Do you know how much that costs? $10,000 at least. She doesn't have that kind of money. Sounds like a her problem." That was when Monica slammed her glass down so hard red wine splashed onto the table. "I can't pay for that either, not after posting her bail." "Then maybe she should have thought about the consequences before getting behind the wheel drunk," I said flatly. "You're being cruel." "No, I'm being consistent. I'm using the exact logic you gave me about Luis. How is it cruel when I'm applying the same rules?" She shifted tactics, her tone softening. "Look, I know I came off harsh when it came to Luis, but this isn't the same. Vanessa could lose everything. Her job, her home, her future. Luis did lose everything. He lost his job, his apartment, and he didn't even break the law. All he did was get laid off." "Can you stop bringing up Luis?" she snapped. "Can you stop being a hypocrite?" I shot back. The argument spiraled. She accused me of being manipulative, of holding on to grudges, of not caring about her family. I finally pulled out my phone, opened the voice memo I'd saved, and pressed play. Her voice came out crystal clear. "Your family drama isn't my problem." Yeah, I'd recorded her months ago when she threatened to walk away if I let Luis stay with us. At the time, it felt like self-defense. She lunged for my phone to delete it, but I blocked her hand. "That's different," she shouted. "It's not different," I said. "The only difference is your sister committed an actual crime." The next day, her parents, Roberto and Diana, called me. They've always treated me like part of the family, so I was polite. Roberto said, "Jerome, we heard you're refusing to help with Vanessa's situation." "I'm just honoring Monica's rules," I explained calmly. "Family issues stay within that family." "But you're engaged," Diana said. "You're practically family already." Monica was crystal clear when Luis was sleeping in his car. She said his problems weren't her responsibility, and she even threatened our relationship if I helped him. I'm just respecting her boundary. Silence. "She said that?" Roberto asked quietly. "She did. Luis was living out of his car. She told me it wasn't her problem." More silence. Then Roberto muttered, "We didn't know that," and they hung up. When Monica got home later, she was furious. "You told my parents about Luis?" They asked why I wasn't helping. I explained I was following your rules. "You're trying to turn them against me." "No, I told them the truth. If the truth makes you look bad, that's not on me." A couple days later, Vanessa came over. She looked exhausted, dark circles, swollen eyes, stress written all over her face. "Jerome, please. I know Monica was wrong about Luis, but I'm desperate. I could lose everything." "You should have thought about that before you drove drunk," I told her. "I made one mistake. One mistake that could have killed someone. Luis's mistake was working for a company that downsized. You think that's comparable?" She glared through tears. "You're going to ruin my life over some petty grudge?" "I'm not ruining anything. You did this to yourself. I'm just not cleaning up your mess. And this isn't a grudge, it's consistency." Her tears spilled over, and Monica appeared, wrapping her arms around her sister while glaring daggers at me. "You're heartless," she hissed. "No," I said evenly. "I'm exactly as heartless as you were 3 weeks ago. I'm just matching your energy." Vanessa left in tears. Monica packed a bag that same night. I'm staying at my parents' until I figure this out. Take your time, I said. But rent's due in a week. Your share is $1,100. She slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frame. For days later she was back. Apparently, her parents weren't nearly as sympathetic once they learned about what she'd said regarding Luis. But the real fireworks began once Vanessa's case moved forward. Her public defender told her to plead guilty and hope for leniency. Vanessa panicked and insisted she needed a real lawyer, so she created a family group chat. I'm still in it for some reason. She begged everyone to chip in. The family immediately split. Some relatives said everyone should help. Others said Vanessa had brought this on herself. Then Monica's cousin Antonio chimed in. Didn't Monica refuse to help Jerome's brother when he was homeless? Why should we help Vanessa? That's when everything came spilling out. Turns out Roberto and Diana had mentioned it at Sunday dinner. The group chat turned into a roast session directed squarely at Monica. Her aunt texted. So family only matters when it's yours? Luis was living in his car, and you told Jerome it wasn't your problem. Cold. Monica scrambled to defend herself. That was different. We have boundaries. Antonio shot back. Boundaries for his family but not yours? That's not boundaries. That's just selfish. And then Vanessa, in one final act of desperation, made everything worse. She posted on social media begging for donations for her legal fees. In her post, she painted herself as a victim of bad luck. But the internet doesn't forget. Someone, I swear it wasn't me, commented with the actual police report. DUI, property damage, fleeing the scene. The post went viral for all the wrong reasons. Her employer, a nonprofit, saw it and fired her for violating their social media policy and morality clause. Monica came home in tears. Vanessa lost her job. Consequences, I said calmly. Now she's going to lose her apartment just like Luis did. Stop bringing up Luis, she screamed. Stop being a hypocrite, I shot back. That's when she hurled a plate against the wall, shards scattering across the floor. I quietly started recording on my phone. You're destroying my family, she sobbed. No, I said. Vanessa destroyed herself. I'm just not here to break her fall. I'll never forgive you for this, Monica. You actually threatened to end our engagement because I refused to abandon my homeless brother. And now I'm supposed to care about winning back your forgiveness? Please. That was the night you dropped the ultimatum. Either I stepped in to fix Vanessa's mess, or we were finished. And I laughed. Not a sarcastic chuckle, an actual laugh. Because the truth is, we were finished the moment you looked me dead in the eye and said my brother sleeping in his car wasn't your concern. I just stuck around long enough to watch you choke on your own rules. You stayed to punish me. I stayed because my name was on the lease and I don't break contracts. But I'll admit, watching you unravel has been a bonus. That night, you packed up and left for good. Fast forward to yesterday, Vanessa cut a plea deal. No prison time, but she walked away with 6 months of license suspension, probation, community service, mandatory AA, and about $5,000 in fines. She's lucky. Still, luck doesn't pay bills. She lost her job, her DUI's on record, and she's back at Roberto and Diana's place. You're there too. Me? I kept the apartment. Luis moved in as my roommate once you were gone. He's killing it at his new job, pays his half, cleans up, and respects me. Best roommate I've ever had. Funny how the guy you dismissed as not your problem has been nothing but responsible and supportive. And the best part? He's never once told me family doesn't matter. Then came your text this morning. You destroyed everything for petty revenge. My response was simple. No, I held us both to the same standard. Your family drama wasn't my problem, remember? And since I can't stand you anymore, your feelings aren't my problem either. Blocked. Final update. I didn't intend to share more, but the ending wrote itself. You tried to salvage your reputation, not us. Claimed I was abusive, manipulative, controlling. But you forgot the voice memo. The one where you coldly declared, your family drama isn't my problem. So when Jasmine messaged me calling me garbage for abandoning you, I forwarded her the recording. She had nothing to say after that. Word spread fast. Half your friends turned on you. The other half clung on until the full story came out. That you threatened to dump me over my brother's homelessness, then demanded I rescue your drunk driving sister. Suddenly, sympathy dried up. When the lease renewal came, Luis and I decided to upgrade. Found a 2-bedroom closer to his office. He's already been promoted again. We were loading boxes when you showed up, clutching your favorite tea like nothing had happened. I want to talk about us. We can fix this, you said. There is no us. Jerome, I know I was wrong about Luis, but you were so cruel about Vanessa. I didn't raise my voice. I treated Vanessa exactly the way you taught me to treat family in crisis. If that's cruel, what does that make you? You started crying, muttering about love. I corrected you. You loved the idea of having me. That's different. Because real love doesn't threaten to walk away when someone's brother is sleeping in his car. I was protecting our space, you said weakly. And I was protecting my standards. Looks like mine are higher. You left your tea behind and walked out. A week later, Roberto called me. He wanted to apologize. Told me I was right to hold my ground. Said having Vanessa live with them has been a nightmare. She refuses to help, constantly complains, blames me for everything. She keeps saying if you'd helped, none of this would have happened, he sighed. I told him the truth. If she hadn't gotten behind the wheel drunk, none of this would have happened. He agreed. Said Monica still defends her, but he doesn't bother fighting anymore. We liked you, Jerome. Wish things had turned out differently. They could have, I said. Monica made sure they didn't. Through friends, I later learned you've already jumped onto dating apps. Your profile says you're looking for someone family-oriented with strong values. The irony made me laugh so hard I nearly choked. Meanwhile, Luis and I are thriving. He's dating a wonderful woman, stacking savings, climbing at work. We do Sunday dinners together, just brothers catching up. Last week, he thanked me for standing by him when nobody else would. Always, I told him. That's what family does. That was always the line you never understood, Monica. To you, family only mattered when it was your own. Your loss. Looking back, I'm grateful. You showed me exactly who you were, a woman who used boundaries as weapons, who treated my family like trash while shielding yours at all costs, who tossed out ultimatums to get her way. In the end, the trash took itself out. Luis once asked if I regretted how things unfolded. Truthfully, the only regret I carry is not recognizing your true colors sooner. Could have saved myself the cost of an engagement ring. But honestly, seeing you forced to live by your own rules, watching your parents realize the kind of daughter they raised, watching your support system crumble. That was worth every dollar. Vanessa's still paying for her DUI. You're still single. Luis just celebrated another promotion. And me? I'm at peace. Because when you stand by your principles and protect the people who actually matter, life has a way of rewarding you. My brother wasn't your problem, and your family? Turns out, not mine either.